Hi everyone, I am back with what's on my frame today, and so I have some more charity quilts that I have to quilt up, and this first one that I have is kind of a fun African themed quilt with cheetahs and elephants and lions and zebra prints and all that good stuff. So I thought maybe this would be a good opportunity to kind of practice the wood grain kind of freeform quilting that kind of looks like the zebra stripes here. And so I've done a quick rendition of practicing on just paper. And so this was my first attempt just to kind of get used to the whole entire process. With this quilt, I lit it on the long way, so that way I could work across horizontally for these grains, kind of like how this is laid out. And that way I wouldn't have to roll and try and feather in my grain instead of just being able to finish one full area off. So that was the first attempt. There's the second attempt, which I feel is a little too busy with the eyes and everything, and so then I did a third attempt where it's a little bit more organic. There we go. With some extra grains, just like, ending and going around. So I think we're going to shoot for something along this line across, but maybe not as busy with the grains and the eyes, maybe just stretching them out a little further. So that's kind of what I'm planning to do. I know Angela Walter said that, once you start, you need to finish it in order to get that full effect, and just keep on going until it's done and then it looks good. So this is a pretty small sampling, but at least I'm getting used to the process and the technique of the wood grain. So that is the plan for this quilt, and let's get started. Hey everybody, I know it's been a while since I've done an update, but basically time has been moving extremely fast. I don't know if it's just me, but it seems that this year has flown by rather quickly. And for October, I had a goal of finishing my applique quilt that had pumpkins on it, and of course that did not happen. I just didn't have the time, and I kind of lost some momentum and enthusiasm about it after I had gotten most of my pieces kind of cut out and ready to kind of place in applique, which basically meant I just mainly need to move the furniture in my apartment to lay the quilt down to pin my fabrics and leaves and pumpkins and things like that down, or at least the vines, at least, not the pumpkins. I haven't cut those out yet because those will be going on top of other things. But I just don't feel like moving my furniture right now to crawl around on the floor and pin those leaves on. So I'm actually kind of just putting it away, and hopefully I'll get it done by next October. But my current project is trying to create a quilt as a gift for some family friends that are getting married this month. It's going to be a little late, of course, but I think we'll be hopefully happy with it. And it's kind of hopefully going to be a utility quilt for them that they can just throw on their bed and things like that. But it's going to be a mixture of batik greens. It's kind of going to be scrappy, and it's all over the place, but I'm hoping to do a video on that process. Somewhat of a quick video, but my videos never seem to be quick anyway. But that is the plan that I'm going to do. Among other things of quilting, I'm also working on a spinning project. So another thing in the works is I am creating a sweater that I have spun up the yarn, gotten all the yardage, dyed it, and then I'm planning to do a colorwork sweater with a Norwegian pattern from the Norwegian Knitting Designs book that my sister got for me for my birthday. So that is something else that I'm working on, but honestly, I feel like a lot of the details that I try to put into my videos might bore people because it's hours and hours of spinning and detailed work or cutting fabric. So quilting, spinning, and knitting are all slow projects and crafts, I think, but hopefully there's enough people out there that seem to enjoy it, so hopefully I can make it a little bit more entertaining as I film these things. So that's pretty much my update for this quilt that's on the frame. It's kind of hard to see the progress of me creating those variegated wooden grains on that quilt top. So I'm hoping to get a little object that I can hopefully clip onto the long arm and position the phone kind of above the quilt so you can kind of see the progress of the quilt being quilted up close, and you can actually see those details of the quilt. But at least on this one, I'll post some pictures at the end of this video so you can kind of see the grain textures that it creates. And hilariously enough, sometimes these quilts that I get from the charity, they really cut the backings pretty small. And even though I thought I had maybe just, you know, an inch or so up at the top and I would be safe at the bottom, I seem to have run into a slight problem of the backing just being a little shy of the top of this quilt. So I'm hoping to get a few more lines quilted on a machine and then cut it down maybe half an inch just to make sure the backing is lining up with that top. But the borders are going to have to be trimmed. So that was the slightly sad thing about it. And as you can see, trying to get some close-ups of this grain detail, and there it is. That's where I had an issue where I just ran a little short on the back. As you can see, I'm folding it over, and once you trim off that piece, it's like maybe a half an inch to an inch of material that might need to be trimmed off on both sides just to make it look even. And that's about it for this one. Thanks for watching.